Welcome everyone. In this part, I will discuss about the simple pendulum and energy in simple harmonic motion. In my previous lecture, I discussed about simple harmonic motion and its mathematical representation. Any vibrating or oscillating system where the restoring force is proportional to the negative of the displacement is in simple harmonic motion. Then, utilizing the Newton's second law of motion and F is equals to minus kx, we derive the equation of simple harmonic motion. It is a linear second order differential equation. In this lecture, I will discuss the simple pendulum case and energy in simple harmonic motion. As I discussed in the previous lecture that the oscillations of a pendulum has been used for centuries to track the time accurately. The simple pendulum is the idealized form that consists of a point mass m, that is the bob of the pendulum is suspended from a massless rigid rod of length L, as you can see here. Now for the angular displacement theta, let's say the displacement of the mass along the arc of the circle of length L is equals to s. Therefore, we can say that the angular velocity along the arc is ds by dt, and then the angular acceleration is d2s by dt2. So now, at a displacement theta, there is a tangential force on the mass acting along the arc, and that is equals to minus mg sine theta. You already know that the minus sign indicates that it is a restoring force. Therefore, applying Newton's second law of motion in the tangential direction, that is Ft, where t stands for the tangential direction, Ft is equals to minus mg sine theta, and this will be equals to m into d2s by dt2. Now s is equals to L into theta, where L is the length of the chord, and this is actually constant, and this equation reduces to d2 theta by dt2 is equals to minus g divided by L into sine theta. And g is actually the gravitational acceleration. So now this equation does not have the same form as the equation of simple harmonic motion, as we have sine theta on the right hand side instead of theta. Nevertheless, if you expand sine theta in the power series, and for the small angles we need to retain only the first term, and that is the theta. So for the small angles, the force is approximately proportional to the angular displacement, and you will get d2 theta by dt2 is equals to minus g by L into theta. Now, if you consider that g by L is equals to omega square, your equation will reduces to d2 theta by dt2 is equals to minus omega square into theta. So now, if you remember the equation for spring oscillator case, it was d2x by dt2 is equals to minus omega square into x. So we can immediately compare these two equations. So now for the simple pendulum case, the time period will be 2 pi divided by omega, and that will be equals to 2 pi into root over L by g, and for the spring oscillator case it was equals to 2 pi into root over m by k. So now by comparing this equation for the simple pendulum case with the spring oscillator case, we can immediately write down an expression for theta, which is the angular displacement of the pendulum, and theta will be equals to theta 0 into cos omega t plus phi, where theta 0 is the angular amplitude of the oscillation. From the expression of period, you can see that it is independent of amplitude for oscillations of small amplitude, and that is why the pendulum is so useful for an accurate time tracker. Importantly, the period does depend on the acceleration due to gravity, and therefore the period of the pendulum provides a way of determining the value of g. So now I will discuss the energy conservation in oscillatory motion. Now for the example of a mass on a spring, which we discussed in the previous lecture, the mass has kinetic energy k and potential energy u. The kinetic energy is due to the motion, and k is equals to half mv square. The potential energy u is the energy stored in the spring and is equal to the work done in extending or compressing it, and that will be equals to half kx square. Now, in an ideal system with no non-conservative forces, the total mechanical energy is conserved. Then you can say that E, which is the total energy, is equals to the kinetic energy plus the potential energy, and that is equals to K plus U, and that will be equals to half mv square plus half kx square. That means the total mechanical energy will be conserved, as we are assuming the system is frictionless. So now if we start from here, so here the spring is totally compressed and the mass is at the limit of its motion, that is x is equals to minus a, and then the velocity is actually 0 here, and as the velocity is 0, that means the kinetic energy is 0. That means you have only the potential energy. So the potential energy is half kx square, as x is equals to a, that is the limit of its motion. So you can get the energy, the total energy is equals to the kinetic energy, that is equals to 0, plus the potential energy, that is equals to half ka square, and that means the total energy is equals to half k into a square. So that means that in this total energy, only the potential energy is contributing and you have no kinetic energy for this case. Now when you release the spring and the spring is at the equilibrium position, so in this case x is equals to 0. So that means the potential energy is equals to 0. And the velocity is maximum here. So the kinetic energy will be the maximum here, and that means if the mass is at equilibrium point, the energy is all kinetic. So whatever the energy contribution you will get here is all kinetic, and the potential contribution is 0 here. Now when the spring is totally extended, that means again it's the limit of its motion, that is x is equals to a, and the velocity is again 0 here. So the kinetic energy is 0 here, and the potential energy is again maximum here. So the energy contribution is totally potential. So that means if the mass is at the limits of its motion, the energy is all potential. So now if we consider that the mass is somewhere in between its limit and the equilibrium position, so that is the equilibrium position is this and the limit is here, which is x equals to a, and the mass is somewhere in between of these two positions. So now in this case you will get the contribution from both the potential energy and the kinetic energy, and the total energy will be equals to half mv square plus half kx square. So now we will derive the maximum value of the kinetic energy. So the value of the kinetic energy is equals to half mv square. So now when the V is maximum, we will get the maximum value of the kinetic energy. So that will be equals to half mv max square. So now from the expression of velocity, that is the first derivative of the displacement with respect to time, and this will be equals to minus omega into a sine omega t plus phi, and the velocity will be maximum when this sine term will be equals to 1. So that means the V maximum is equals to omega into a, and that will be equals to k by m into a, where a is the amplitude of the oscillation. So now if you put the value of V max in the expression of this kinetic energy, you will get as maximum kinetic energy is equals to half k into a square. Here we can see that the projection of uniform circular motion can be viewed as simple harmonic motion. Let's consider that this particle, so this particle is performing a uniform circular motion with a constant angular speed. Now if we start from this position, that means that your spring is at full extended position. Now when the particle is here, so the projection is basically here. When it completes the quarter of a cycle, so that means your projection is here, so this is the equilibrium position of the spring. So now when the particle completes half of a cycle, so that means your particle is here and the projection is also here, and this is actually the full compressed position of the spring. Now when the particle is here, the projection is actually here. So when this particle is here, so it is in the equilibrium position. So you can see here that the projection of uniform circular motion can be viewed as simple harmonic motion. So when the mass is at the limits of its motion, so that is when x is equals to a or x is equals to minus a, that means in these two positions, the potential energy will be maximum, or you will get the maximum value of the potential energy. But in these two cases, the value of the kinetic energy will be 0, as v is equals to 0 in these two positions. So here in this diagram, the kinetic energy is shown using the yellow color and the potential energy is shown using the red color. So we can get the maximum value of the kinetic energy at the equilibrium position, and at the maximum value of the displacement, the kinetic energy is equals to 0, as v is equals to 0. So that means the total energy is therefore E is equals to half k into a square. Here in this cartoon, the real space and the phase space representation of the simple harmonic motion is shown. So here this is the equilibrium position. So that means at this position x is equals to 0, that is the position is equals to 0, displacement is 0 here, and these two are the two limits of the motion. So that means that the displacement is maximum at these 2 points. So now you can see here that the velocity is 0 at this 2 point, and you can actually get the velocity maximum at the equilibrium position, that is when x is equals to 0, when there is no displacement, and that is the resting position of the spring, and you will get the maximum value of the velocity. So now in this diagram actually shows how the energy transforms from the potential to kinetic and back, while the total energy remains the same. So here the yellow graph represents the potential energy and the red graph represents the kinetic energy. So if we start from one of the limiting value of the displacement, that is either from the extended part of the spring or from the compressed part of the spring, we will get kinetic energy 0, and at that position potential energy has the maximum value. So now when it completes the half of the cycle, that is up to here, the potential energy is again maximum here and the kinetic energy is 0 here. But at the equilibrium position, that is here, the energy is all kinetic. So basically from the equation, that is E is equals to half k square, or the potential energy is equals to half k square, this is actually represents the equation of a parabola. So the potential energy is parabola in x. So when x is equals to 0 here, that means when the spring is at its resting position, the energy is all kinetic, as the velocity is maximum here. And at the two limiting position, that is x is equals to minus a and x is equals to plus a, that is for the compressed position and the extended position of the spring, the energy is all potential. However, the total energy, that is the sum of the kinetic energy and the potential energy, will remain constant with the time. So that's all for today, and in the next lecture I'll talk about the damped oscillation.